Greetings, Earthlings. No, I'm just kidding. Hi there, and welcome to another episode of Love Healing, the podcast with me, Tiffany B. Today we talk about apothecary, and that was a difficult word for me to pronounce. But diving in, I've learned so much about medicine and pharmacy and like the lineage of pharmacy even. And knowing an apothecarist is super, super cool. So we'll get into that in just a moment. But let's start with what is apothecary? So apothecary simplified. An apothecary is a person who prepares and sells compounds for medicinal purposes. It's open to the public. The modern apothecary will specialize in providing you options for high-quality professional-grade supplements produced with only the highest quality ingredients and tested for potency and purity. It can also be called a druggist, a dispenser, a gallipot. I don't know what that is. Let's do a little bit more research there. A pharmacologist or a dispensing chemist. Let's talk about apothecary versus pharmacy. The word apothecary is derived from the ancient Greek language. It is the identification of an establishment or individual who dispenses medical materials. In this way, an apothecary is the old form of a pharmacy. But apothecaries specialized in the herbal science and chemistry that is left up to pharmaceutical companies nowadays. And they've changed it a little bit. The pharmaceutical companies of modern times have changed it. I said a little bit, but a lot of it, because it's not all herbs. It's not all things that you can find in the ground and from nature and natural, right? So they've kind of weaved in even more science, even more synthetics, even more extras. A pharmacy is a location that houses a pharmacist. An apothecary is a term of professional distinction, like a doctor or dentist. For years, CVS and Walgreens pharmacies did not offer medical screening or services apart from the retail prescription pharmaceuticals. The integration of public clinics, such as the CVS Minutes Clinic, is an example of the integration of apothecary services in a pharmacy. That was a mouthful. So what are the benefits of custom supplements or something that you can get from someone who takes the time to actually find the natural herbs and build the chemistry compounds that could really work specifically for you? What would be benefits? First, only the needed vitamins and minerals are ingested. So vitamins and minerals are one area where it is entirely possible to have way too much of a good thing. They can be toxic if they reach high levels in the body. 2, the purity of the product. So if you're going to invest in your health by taking a vitamin or a supplement or a compound or a mixture, then be sure to invest in high quality products, which is exactly what an apothecary would specialize in. 3, patients are made more aware of the interactions of vitamins with each other and other medications. So far too many people take supplements blindly without researching the side effects that can occur if they are mixed together or mixed with prescription medications. So here's the fun part. To actually know someone who takes the time to do this, who has a garden and field and a store and really does research and really just like unplugs from, all of the things that we typically consume, TV, radio, phone, social media, etc., and takes the time to build custom supplements for himself, for his family, he and his partner Natasha work together. They're so cute. They have the cutest baby, and they actually have a great family. It's been a journey to find someone like Ben, and I didn't even find him. He just was like, boom, there one day. We do yoga together. Ben is a movement alchemist. Ben is an apothecary, like I said, with his family, with his wife, and he is just an all-around decent human. He is really dedicated to being sovereign and communicating that message to more people. So they have a company called Wild Feather Medicinals. And they say it's rewilding through sacred self-love. So they have superfood adaptogen powders and teas, high vibe snacks, brews, elixirs, all those things. They have Creatrix collab boxes and more. So Ben White, the movement alchemist, the yogi, the sovereign individual, the person who really puts human decency first, is just a joy to talk to. And some of his thoughts are like mine. They're not super popular, but that's okay. That's what this is all about, getting to know other people's perspectives, whether or not you agree. But hear it, take what works for you, and leave what doesn't. So let's talk to Mr. Benjamin White. Hi, Ben. Welcome to Love Healing.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
I'm so glad you came on because we connected through Booty Yoga. It was a couple of years ago, I feel like. And then, of course, 2020 happened. No one remembers it. It went by.
Yeah, the whirlwind for sure.
Yes. And then last week, we got to do some yoga together.
Yeah, it was super fun. Thank you for jumping in on that, too.
That was so challenging. I can't wait for it to come out.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And I learned a little bit about your products and things like that. So you have a whole holistic lifestyle. You got some kids, a new baby with pretty cheeks, and she's just so cute.
Oh, yeah, the love. So yeah, all those things happening. Yeah, for sure. It's been a ride. It's still going, you know.
Yeah. So I always start with, who is Benjamin White?
Who's Benjamin White? Oh, shit. You know, I'm just a man, you know, just trying to do the best that I can and learn and live every day. And, you know, I don't know, I'm just someone that really enjoys my life, like the challenges in it. The ups and downs, the roller coaster of it all. I have 3 kids and 2 stepkids. So my oldest is almost 16. My first one's her name's Madeline. Sienna just turned 13, so she's my second one. And then my lady Natasha, she has 2 kids, Ami and Liv, who are 8 and 10. And then we got little Penelope, who's 5.5 months.
Wow.
Yeah, that little one too. She's just a little love nugget. So she's reteaching me all like the universal lessons, you know, those things that just are, I don't know, the conversations that I have with her, like just remind me of the importance of being playful and childlike and, you know, real and authentic and raw and just like all the things and just let it be what it is, and you know that I'm perfect just as I am, and you know that I can always do better, and you know that's just kind of the way that I approach life. It's like school, you know. Yeah. Death is graduation, or maybe it's just the beginning. I don't know, but yeah. And I've been been doing like holistic life coaching, nutrition work for I started my personal training journey about 20 years ago now. It's crazy because I still feel like I'm 25 at times, and then I'm like approaching 40, and you know, it's so it's funny. Like I get a lot of younger teachers and stuff like that around me nowadays too, and I'm just like, dang, I actually am kind of getting older, but I'm still trying to keep up with the youngsters out there. So yeah, I've been doing movement medicine of all sorts for, my whole life, but like teaching it and stuff like that for about 20 years. So I have a background in corrective exercise and sports performance training. I was an extreme sports athlete, rollerbladed like skate parks, things like that. I was a competitive cheerleader, did that for a number of years. So I think that's part of like kind of the weaving in of where like booty resonates with me, because it kind of reminds me a little bit of that to a certain degree. And I mean, we live off grid out in California in a place called Cool, California. It's pretty cool out here. And there's always work to be done. That's one of the things too. It's like, it's wonderful having like big garden and doing that kind of stuff. But it definitely presents challenges every day, and there's always something that needs to be done. But it's good. I'm doing all the things that I really, really love to do, regardless pandemic or not. People say, well, how has your life changed since pandemic? And it's like, I do everything that I want to do on a daily basis. I would probably like to do some overseas travel, like for some retreats and stuff. But outside of that, like, I just, I'm a free man that wants to do, what feels good.
Yes, same. I have the same sentiments about the pandemic. It didn't stop me. And there's a few of us that it's like, it actually brought out more of who we are and what we love, and we were able to really like hone in on what's important to us.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the cool things that I took away.
Yeah, I think it's like through those challenging times, it's a great opportunity to be creative and resourceful, So it's like you're going to be a victim of circumstance and wait for corrupt politicians to tell you what to do, or someone to like make your way for you. And I don't know, I'm not into that kind of thing. I think that it's important for us to continue to make our own choices and be free, self-sovereign human beings. And there's two ways to make a slave. You either make them work without pay, or you pay them not to work. And I'm not doing either of those things. So
I agree. You hit on such a powerful point there. The word sovereign, I hear people dropping it everywhere, like, oh, I'm sovereign. But really, you don't know what that means. That you're still in the matrix, or you're still in the rat race, so to speak. If you're sitting in fear and you're waiting for this miracle thing or miracle drug or miracle politician or whatnot, you're never gonna, that's not a thing. It's not going to happen. You've got to be able to forge your own path and stay true to who you are. I'm such a believer of that. And it's a weird position that I end up being in sometimes. Just because it's not popular. It's not a popular thought in the South or whatever.
Yeah, but it's necessary too. It's one of those things that like, it's hard to go against the grain a little bit when people are so numb to what's going on. And I think it's directly related to the level of consumption of the garbage that's out there. The more of that we're consuming, I don't know, for lack of a better word, the less woke, I guess, somebody's going to be. And they're going to, they end up kind of falling into that Stockholm syndrome kind of space where they're supporting their oppressor. And it's a sad thing, and I think that, one of the beautiful things about the human experience and the human spirit is that we're all born like, sovereign, free. Divinity is something that runs through all of us. And we're in a space right now where so many people are waiting for permission to live their life. It's like, don't wait for permission. Don't ask for permission. Like, get rid of the excuses, You make all the excuses in the world, but at the end of the day, it comes down to you. You're in choice to either fall in line or to make your own path. And I don't know, I'm not a fall in line, live inside the box type of guy. So.
Same, neither. My family always thought I was crazy. They're just like, she just does whatever she wants. She's free spirit, whatever. That's where that nickname came from.
Yeah.
Because every time they're like, you need to X, Y, Z and do it this way, 1, 2, 3. I usually went around the curve and up the hill and down and around the opposite way, because I'm like, that doesn't resonate with me.
Yeah, you're going to try to figure it out at some time. Many people, it's on their deathbed that they are starting to realize, like, damn, maybe I should have been, I don't know, brave enough to think for myself or learn how to break through some of those programs. And it's hard because, those things are like ingrained from such an early age, whether it's parents or religion or society or whatever else. It is like kind of like the Matrix in a sense, where people are
Yeah.
programmed and they have like, I mean, that's the way that like technology and stuff is working nowadays. It's, human beings are consumer commodities to this system. And, I don't believe that we're like completely like stuck in like a simulation necessarily. I know there's some people out there that believe that kind of stuff.
Right.
But I believe that having conscious awareness and being able to discern and make choices beyond the program proves that it's something more than that, where I think that like a computer program or something like that is limited by the structure in which that it's created. There's certain rules or laws or byproducts of being a program that can only go so far, and that's not the human spirit. We got a soul, and that to me makes the biggest difference and shows that there's something a lot greater than just assimilation.
1000%. So I want to talk about your movement. I didn't realize you were in corrective exercise, so that's another thing we have in common. Yeah. But the way that you do your flows, it's like I called you the movement magician. Yeah. Because I don't know how we got into some of the things we did, but it was like we were at the front one moment, and we were in the back, and we were upside down and around on the side, and it's so very cool. So how do you what is your journey with yoga even?
Yeah, I think it's I started doing yoga maybe about 15 years ago, and it was kind of an off and on thing in the beginning. I was always into movement. Again, like I was into like extreme sports and jumping off of stuff and spinning and flipping and doing that kind of thing. And I don't know, for me, I feel that my movement and the way that I teach yoga or Buddhi or anything else is like it mimics life, and to be all linear, one way to do everything or always do the right side then the left side doesn't resonate with me the same way. So I like to move in all planes of motion, various speeds, and it's kind of that yin yang. If I can get something really big and open, I want to bring it like down and contract it real small, and then I want to spin it another direction so I can try to take something as far one way as I can. And then it's just natural for me to like, if this is as far as I can go here, then let's like bring it back and go a different direction. I don't know. I kind of get lost in it, and I feel like that happens a lot when I teach, and I don't practice when I teach too. It's for me, that's where I access like that flow state, or like that where it's just complete, I'm not worried about anything else. It's its own unique experience every time. I love like just feeling the energy in the room, and if I have like a plan of what I want to do and where I want to go, it's like the people may not be like ready for that, and it's just got to be what it is. And it's not one of those things where you can like be sitting there thinking about your grocery list or something like that.
Right.
And I know some people out there, they're like, oh, well, if people know where they're going, then they can really like get into the movement and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, if they know where they're going, they can zone out, and like, be thinking about some other shit. And, and it's not like that for me, because I like to throw little tweaks in there anytime. So you might think we're going one way, and then it's like, and then take it back another way.
This is true.
So it makes you, it's something about being present in the movement and the feeling that is, I don't know, it's what it is. And it feels like magic to me inside my body and my mind. And it's it's what fuels me, what gives me passion. And a lot of people, they get burnt out when they teach a lot. And that's the opposite for me. That's where I get my juice from.
Yeah. I think I feel the same way. I don't mean think. I know I do. I feel the same way. I wouldn't teach right. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, you're amazing at what you do too. So it's I'm glad it resonates with you. And when I see like you move and other people move, it's I'm always blown away by their creativity and your creativity. And it makes me I don't know. Like again, I'm like a little kid. I'm just like, oh, that's so dope. I want to do that. Trying to do some different things, and I love the way. Seeing that and being able to try to weave it into kind of what I'm into, especially like with the deep stuff. I feel like I like to get a lot of that stuff in there, whether it's like palpating like muscles and things like that. Because if you touch a muscle, it's gonna stimulate that nervous system's connection to it, and I think that's really what it's about, is creating awareness around what's happening in the body. And we want to be able to connect to it and be in tune with what's happening.
Yeah, we have to be able to go inside. It's all about muscle innervation, right? Reconnecting the nervous system, reconnecting that nervous energy, stimulating the nerves that have been dead, dormant, or ignored. Because a lot of times, if something happens and there's trauma or surgery or whatever, literally can lose feeling in the body. Doing something just like touching it with the opposite hand. So if you're on your right shoulder, touch it with your left hand. That automatically like kicks on a synapses in your brain.
Yep.
You don't realize that.
Yeah, and that's part of why I flow the way that I do too, like crossing the midline, you know, moving from front to back, side to side, you know, like it's when people sit up for class and they're like, is this the front? And they're like, it is for a minute, you know, and I like that because, yeah, anytime that you do that, I mean, I'm a student of the Czech Institute, so Paul Czech, he's big into like, you know, motor learning and like all the different like animal style of movements and going from like amphibian in the womb to like crawling and all those things.
Yeah.
And, so yeah, like the little primal pattern movement systems and stuff. Yeah, I love the way that wakes things up. You know, it's almost like infant training for adults. So
right.
Really, yeah.
Right. It's also where some of us have left our minds anyway. We need to go back and pick up that primitive instinct anyhow.
Absolutely, for sure. Totally.
So I want to talk about your wild heart?
Wild feather.
Wild feather. Why did I think heart? I was just on the website earlier. You made a post about the super coffee, and then I saw that a lot of that stuff was stuff for men, but I was like, that's okay. I'm going to the website anyway because there's some really cool stuff.
Yeah, there's just one. The Omni Alpha is like a men's one, but we have regular Omni powders. So Wild Feather is a creation from my lady, Natasha Bailey. She's like a herbal kitchen witch. I always tease. I'm like, they'd have burned you at the stake back in the day, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've been running that for a while. It's really taken off a lot. But we do like superfood, like elixirs. We do like mix-ins for things like coffee or smoothies and things like that.
Something you had on there was mint. You could scoop a thick mint.
Ooh, yes. So we do high-fat, like superfood desserts basically too. So we'll have like the one that I put in there was it's called thick mint. It's got like moringa powder in it, coconut oil, coconut butter. That one has like some mint CBD in there, some peppermint oil. What else is in that one too? I think there's a couple of things in that one. I think some tocos too, which is a really good source of vitamin E. But yeah, we have a whole line of those. We used to do them in little treats, like little fat bombs. Mm-hmm. Now we do them like scoopables. So we have a sacred spice one that's like a gingerbread kind of jam. That's what I made my coffee with today. This has like the sacred spice in it, which is really good. So we'll mix in like medicinal mushrooms and like adaptogenic herbs, hormone support, immune system support, all that good stuff in there. And food is the medicine, medicine's the food. So yeah, we have a whole line of that stuff, and we do custom teas, and yeah, it's good stuff. And then we launched the Omni Alpha, which is like the men's like hormone support. So big testosterone booster, stuff to flush out any of the unnecessary estrogens, toxic estrogens. And I feel that especially nowadays, 2020 was a perfect example of like beta males just being like told what to do and falling in line. And I think that it's I think there's been an attack on masculinity for a while now. And it's like, because strong masculine men like that's gonna like stand up for their family isn't gonna be told what to do and told that they can't work, and they're like, no, we're gonna provide and we're gonna do the things that are important, and it's not toxic to be masculine or anything like that. I mean, if you're a decent human being and you're good to people, that's what it's about. And I feel like there. We look at the food systems and like the atrazine that they're spraying on all the crops, and it's no wonder that testosterone levels in men have dropped significantly over the years. And there's a lot of stuff that goes along with that. I think there's been a huge attack on the hormone system and things, and the neurological system. So it's kind of a response to that, is to try to give in a sense, men their balls back.
Yes, but even with stuff like soy isn't everything. And when I cut it out of my diet, I didn't realize how much soy was in so many things. Yeah, but that high estrogen level will affect men. Toothpaste, fluoride, all these things. Your pineal gland is being calcified. Like, Everything is happening that we don't even realize unless we do our own research
Yeah.
and unless we pay attention. We have to start to use, and I don't like to say we have to do anything because you should people, but I think that we should consider using our food, like you said, as medicine. We don't need all this extra stuff and all this, fake stuff. Because if you can't pronounce it, I'm pretty sure you're not digesting it.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, is you said like our food, right? Like that other stuff can't even be classified as food. You have like known carcinogens and like neurological disruptors and all kinds of stuff being passed off as food. And it's these same people that are approving that stuff to be put into our food supply, to be sprayed. Like, I mean, the people that poison our air, food, soil, and water are not trying to save you with COVID or anything else,
Right.
These people are outright, they're poisoning you, they're not your friend, they're not trying to help you. And so it's funny when we look at that, it's like, man, like that stuff can't even, I wouldn't give that to like my worst enemy. And if I had, possession of most of those things and gave it to anybody, they would lock me up for it. And they get subsidized for it. They get like kickbacks from the government to do this stuff. And then on the other side, people think that like they're trying to help them. It's like, no, I mean, those people are poisoning you, and you don't even see it because the poison is so like deep, and it's just, and everything's nutrition, whether it's media, TV, or whatever else, the social media programming, AI systems that are like molding and shaping you into predictable behavior, to be like the ultimate consumer, in the way that they deem, the best for controlling the masses. And some people never ever see that, and some people are starting to wake up to it. And for me, being in the holistic life coaching type of stuff and understanding like nutrition from a grassroots movement, Weston A. Price Foundation, Price Partner, like all that kind of stuff I was exposed to a number of years ago. And I mean, if nature doesn't lie, nothing is forced out there, and it has all the answers, like the universal truths are right there, and that's not made in a lab or anything else.
I agree. So, I've been saying to many people lately, if you would turn off the TV and like just sit with yourself, could you even do it for 5 minutes? Just in 5 minutes, put your phone, like turn the phone off, turn off the TV, sit with yourself and see what you feel. Are you going to get anxious and start with the short, tight breath? Or are you going to be able to tap in and see like, how am I feeling today? What's going on today? How do you wake up? Do you roll over and grab your phone? Or do you get up and meditate? Do you say like, hey, I'm grateful to be alive. Like, what's up, God? What are we doing today? There's a difference if we could tap into that again and really hear our higher self and our source and all of that. But I also feel like when you sleep with the TV on and when you wake up with your phone, it's a lot harder to get into yourself.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way that the system is set up, they've tricked you to think that divinity's outside of yourself, something you need to search for, validation, whatever it is externally. And it's like this constant perpetual state of interruption, for validation, like my worth is dependent on the number of likes that I get or something like that, and it's like, I mean, and most people, they don't know why they feel the way they feel about what it is that they're feeling about, and that's the way that it's designed, like the way that like there's social media, like AI systems and stuff like that too. It's designed to push the people on the right further to the right, the people on the left further on the left, and the ones that are in the middle to pick a side. And it's like, and they forgot what it means to be a decent human being. It's like so much of the world. I mean, obviously we're on like, digital platform right now. But it's amazing to me how much people can't even look each other in the eye anymore.
Right.
And the great like exercise, like if you were just to stop and look somebody in the eye for 5 minutes, it could be like one of your worst enemies, you know what I mean? But really like do it and just like drop the walls for a second and realize that all human beings at heart want the same thing. We want to feel love, we want to feel compassion and connection. We want to feel safe and secure. And we forget that they've been tricking us to think that like our neighbor is our enemy, and it's like, no, like your neighbor's the person that you're going to ask for like a cup of sugar from, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, someone's, whatever, hopefully it's not a bunch of sugar, but, but yeah, it's like we forget what it means to be human, and I think that like unplugging from all that stuff. I'll run these little detox workshops at times, and it's like, first rule is, okay, well, for this week we're going to shut social media off, no
Yeah.
TV, no social media. And it's amazing like how much everything gets better,
Yeah.
because you're not waking up first thing in the morning and be like, oh wait, hold on, let me initiate fight or flight response to somebody else's drama over a week that I have no business
Oh my
in
gosh,
my
yes.
right now. And then it's just like, and people concern themselves with all these global issues at hand, which I'm not saying those things aren't important, but I mean, those people can't even make their bed right now. It's like, start with, get your own house in order, like do those kind of things, like
Yeah.
shit straight. And then, and the micro ultimately affects the macro. And the more that we can like dial that in, from an individual level, which really when we're wanting to affect change on a global scale, it comes down to radical responsibility,
Yes.
And and it may not be like, that your path is to, I don't know, do something that completely alters and changes like the course of history, like in a specific way. But you living at your best and most passionate and taking responsibility, like, will make that happen,
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that is a catalyst for other people to do the same, and that's just a trickle effect, and then overall the level of consciousness all rises, as one. So.
Exactly, because we are all connected. This is the collective. In as much as we see so much division, and that's, what's perpetuated all the time, is like so many different ways that we can be divided, right? Like, who would think that I would be sitting on a call with you because we look like we would have nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
But if you, like you said, drop the walls,
yeah,
and you're a human being, and just come from that place of love and that place of like acceptance and curiosity even, and then being your best self, you'll always be able to find something in someone else, either to learn from them or to appreciate in them or to reignite in yourself, is what I'm finding.
Yeah, for sure. I've been doing organize a men's group every Sunday morning. We meet early, 6:15 in the morning. We go do some cold plunge in the river.
Oh yes, I want to talk about that. Do you do the Wim Hof type of breathing?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are kind of into that. There's a community out here that's like pretty big into it. I love Wim Hof. I think he's amazing. What he like has brought forth and understanding like the power of the mind is something that's truly incredible. I don't literally go too much in depth with like doing his breathwork practices like before I do that kind of stuff. And a lot of that's like really kind of get you into like a certain mental state, so that way you can handle it. And I think it definitely helps you like go longer and stuff like that. I'm also of the type that's like, is the power of the mind. So it's like, okay, I can either say that I have to do this breath work in order for me to like go do that, or I can just jump in.
Do it.
So I'm kind of one of those type of people. I'm just like, I'm a Sagittarius. Like, we're just gonna do things and then just see what happens, But one of the things that I'm really finding in that, and this hasn't always been the case in my life, is that I'm not in competition with anybody, like I'm not in competition with these other men, like I don't like people in the same profession. They might work at different studios or whatever else. Like, I mean, there's infinite pieces to the pie. And, I don't, when I see somebody like thriving and stuff like that, I want to root them on and clap for them and be like, the reality is that there's only one me,
Right.
And it's like, you can, even if somebody came through and say, for instance, in yoga, like wanted to go record my class, do exact same sequencing, same playlist, same cues and everything, it wouldn't be the same experience. Because we have that unique individual, like kind of, essence, and that's something that can't be touched. And so as I tap into that, I do that more and more of that men's work, as I realize that, like, I want everybody to just succeed, and I want everybody to feel good. And for me, that's like is a big growth piece for me, because I mean, like, younger years, you're like competing against men and like women or whatever else, and like, what, like that's a completely different situation. And I don't know, it's just kind of silly shit that we've been it's the same thing with like women, they're competing to look a certain way, or the perfect body looks like this, or like perfect nose looks like that,
right?
And it's all based off of like this illusion, like this Maya. And there's just like this faulty sense of what perfection is, and perfection to me is like something that like it'll always be one up. Like the ego will always like find something else where there's like an inadequacy or a lack of somewhere in it. And I just more and more I'm just trying to not be into any of that kind of shit and just root for people and build them up, and, you know, and it comes back around. So
Yeah, I was watching something. I don't remember what was I watching. It doesn't matter. So the lady said it's another one of those like self-help, self-love, getting to your flow state types of things. Because I listen to like Joe Dispenza, Greg Braden, and sometimes I watch the Success podcast, My Life Beyond Success or whatever, because I choose to put that type of, if I'm going to watch something, I'm going to watch something that's going to lift me up and continue to propel me in a positive direction. But she said, we have this idea that death is bad and it's going to be like the end of everything. But what if it's actually just a transformation to the next part or to the next piece of you, the next piece of your soul? And you look back and you say, wow, in that human space, I made that really difficult. And it didn't have to be.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. Like, I'm a big fan of Joe Dispenza and like Zach Bush and stuff too. And the things that Zach Bush talks about, like the beauty of like passing over. You know, he was like one of his practices was in doing like end of life care and such too. And to me, it's like death is a beautiful thing. Like, you earn it. You know what I mean? Like, and being able to honor like the life that we've had leading up to it is important. I feel like it's a really it's kind of a sad space that we've been in, where like, you know, like with all the COVID stuff and people not being able to be with their loved ones as they transition and stuff, you know, it's a sad thing. And I think that's what, like, loneliness is one of the greatest causes for early mortality, you know. And it's just like, and people are dying alone right now. And I don't know, I think that there's beauty in death, and it's just like, it's a restart. And, you know, they say what, energy can't be created nor destroyed. It's just a transference. And, you know, it's just, I mean, that's the same thing I think about like with food and things like that too. You know, it's like, you know, I am a meat eater. You know, I do love like good animal source proteins and fats and stuff like that. And for me, like, there is an honor and a reverence in taking on that energy, for me to be able to live like optimally in the way that my body functions. And I don't know, there's just something about just loving all of it, life, death, and everything in between. And, you know, who knows what happens afterwards. I don't believe that, you know, I think that our soul is something that always will continue. Because it's source, right? I mean, that's like, that's like source potential. That's like God energy, you know? And it's just a unique manifestation of God coming through, you know, in this flesh body right now. So it's never, I don't think it's ever going to be just the end, you know? It's just the beginning. Yeah,
I agree. Oh my gosh, Ben, this has been so awesome. I am honored that you came on. I'm glad we got to talk about your products. I want to let everybody know where they can find you, how they can find you. I know you have something coming up March 13th. I think I'm going to sign up for that.
Yeah, Elevate Your Mind workshop. We're going to go into all kinds of good stuff, you know. So I'm really excited about that. I mean, I think that the mental emotional side of like coaching and learning and stuff like that is things that really kind of thrill me, versus like kind of the old school personal training stuff that I used to get into. You know, I love how we, you know, human behavior goes down. So we're going to look at, you know, some biohacking stuff, and, you know, how do we make sure we clean this vessel out to experience it optimally. So yeah, that's coming up on the 13th. We are going to do that on Zoom as well. It'll be in person and on Zoom. So I'm stoked about that. Instagram is A Conscious Approach. So you can find me on there. The Wild Feather site is sacredselflove.us. So that's our website for that. So you can find all of our products on there. You can sign up for that workshop on there as well. And then we have Instagram too, which is at Wild Feather Medicinals, that Natasha runs. So give her a shout out over there. If you have any questions about any products or anything out there, you know, shoot, and be around.
I will drop the links and tag you and do all the things. I'm going to put in my order. I'm going to sign up for the 13th because I'm ready. I'm ready to move the collective forward together. You know, I love collaboration over competition. I love like focusing inward and really when you say the word love, like I know everybody has a different definition, but love just is, right? It is all encompassing of all things. There are no flaws, there are no wrongs, there are no goods, there are no bads, it just is.
Yes, the truth,
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and I got 2 100-hour modules that I'm gonna launch, like teacher
Oh
training
yeah.
module. So I'm gonna do one coming up. I'm trying to lock down the dates with one of the studios that I'm at, and I'll let you know about that. But I'd love for you to come out and even help teach and contribute. I think it'd be cool to do like a deep section kind of jam in there. At least the importance of that kind of work in modality. But yeah, so that's in the works right now. It's, I built me and Natasha built a full 200-hour plus another 100-hour module, but I'm gonna launch them in blocks. And I'll let you know when all that's happening. But that's something that has been a long-term passion of mine. I don't know. I'm excited about it. I think that it's needed and necessary for my own contribution. It's something that I want to be able to help people unlock their own creativity and movement in the way that they teach, and not feel like they have to follow a very specific format on something, because then I feel like it puts people in boxes, and I'm about breaking it down. So,
yeah, don't put me in a box. I would love to. I want to come out even and just walk the grounds and learn about your apothecary, because I don't have a green thumb. My grandmother had a garden, and I was not always out there, but I'm learning that is important. My brother wants to do the garden again, so we're thinking about having someone come out and make it, viable, the land viable again. I mean, it's just, we need to do things ourselves. Yeah. We need to get our hands dirty, and I want to come out.
It's important. Yeah, I mean, the garden grows for the gardener that's in the garden,
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's just about being present in there, your plants, the soil, everything will talk to you, and if you're paying attention, you'll learn the ways, and you just love your plants, and it's a good thing. And I was never one for have much of a green thumb either, and now I feel like I can grow most things, and it's just, I think, because I just slowed down enough to appreciate just the beauty of nature and all that it encompasses. So
cool.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do an episode live out there on the grounds and just be in the space.
I'm down. We got a big property out here, and the garden has been neglected a little bit just with the new baby and that sort of thing. But this spring, summer, we'll have a lot rocking, and she'll be crawling around, probably running around the dirt, and eating dirty strawberries and stuff. Cool. It's really good to see you. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. And obviously, it was an easy, free-flowing conversation. And that's how it goes with good friends. So thank you so much.
Thanks, man. I love you. Thank you for coming on.
Love you too. Yeah, absolutely. Take care.
So much more than just apothecary, but the movement magician, the alchemist of all things natural and holistic, Mr. Benjamin White, was not someone that I could sum up with just one word or just one sentence. As you can tell by listening to him, he's a man of depth. He is a man who believes in basic human decency. He believes in treating people with kindness and respect, and also standing up for what you believe in. And how do you do that? How do you even find what you believe in? What is important to you? Tapping in, right? Disconnecting, unplugging, going inside, finding silence, finding solace with the voice that is inside of you. Your higher self, your highest good, your source energy is going to help connect you to what you truly value. Because I love how he said in this life, right? We don't have to make things as hard as we are making them. Some things are just not that important. So we could have a little bit more fun with it. We can move around. We can make shapes, we can make jokes, we can, be sovereign. We can forge our own path if we choose that. It's just about the narrative. It's about the mindset. It's about you. It's about you being authentically and truly you. Because I love what Michael Beckwith has said. He said, among many things, if you don't do you, you won't be done. So you have to do you to the best of your ability, which is going to be the best. You will be the best at what you do because you are the only one that can do you. I know that was like a circular statement, but it made so much sense when he said it. To get out of the state of lack and despair and disappointment and sadness and not enoughness and never satisfied, like out of that state and into like what makes you happy, what brings you joy, what are you passionate about, what's driving you, what keeps you waking up every single day and doing the things that you do. Whew. It's got to come from within you. We can be free thinkers. We can be gardeners. We can, be apothecarists. I don't know if that's actually a word, but really though, when you look at science and when you look at just breaking down the materials of things, some of the things that we're consuming, from our food to our media to our self-doubt, right? Filtered in and fed to us by others. Some of those things that we're consuming, they're never ever going to be for our highest good. They're never or ever going to be for the good of the collective consciousness. So how do we strip that away? How do we break down the programs? How do we remove them, drop them out, let them go, leave them alone? Start over, start fresh. Well, I think Ben kind of tapped in, right? Get in nature. Get off the technology. Get grounded. Get real. Get into you. And you can do that in many different ways. So I will drop Ben's links. Maybe you can join me on March 13th for his empowerment workshop. I think it's going to be amazing. Hopefully I'll be joining him for any parts of his teacher training, because I would be honored when you have connections with people that are beyond color, beyond gender, beyond age, beyond geographical location, beyond monetary status. When you really just are like, I'm a human being, so are you. What can we bring to the table for each other? That's dope. That is what Ben is for me. Every time I see him, it's like something new, some new truth bomb, something that I've been thinking about or looking at or researching, and he just is like, boop, yep, there it is. Okay, so cool. I love practicing yoga beside him. And, as he mentioned, the way that I teach as well, it's just coming from a place of what you feel collectively, what you notice, and then moving through it. So I hope that you enjoyed this show. And we'll see you again next week. Thanks for joining us this week on Love Healing, the podcast. Brought to you by True Align, Holistic Life, and me, Tiffany B. Please visit our website at www.truealignlife.com and follow us on Instagram at True Align Life. Big shout outs and thank yous to our sponsors, the Fitness Collective in Atlanta, which you can also follow at Fitness Collective ATL. As always, we'd appreciate if you'd hit subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app so that you don't miss any new episodes. Let us know what you want to hear about. What do you want to learn? What is your passion? How are you showing love to others and most of all, to yourself? You can leave us an anonymous note if you like, and we'll be happy to share your story on air. Until next time, I look forward to our vibration elevation again next week. Bye.